we're now going to focus on our brow raise. So on here, we're going to lift up this area, and then we can kind of focus us on two different ways. We can focus this where we can do like an arched type of brow, or we can lift this straight up, more of a linear fashion. I'm going to do more of an arched one, and I'm going to go and add a target on here, and do brow. Now you can also do a brow lower, but he's almost at a lowered state as it is on here. So you can actually use your brow raised to be the raised, and then between's the normal, and then this is actually in its down state, so you can work with that too. Okay, so I do want to freeze below, so let's go into freeze. I make my brush smaller. I'll click on the mesh and just go, and it'll just... I'm actually using my mouse to paint this. Okay, I'm actually going to paint below here too. Okay, cool. So I go to my grab, make my brush bigger. Okay, so I'm in grab mode. I'm going to go brush real big. Now we do have to think about what's being pulled. You got this giant horseshoe type of muscle called a frontalis muscle that's actually lifting everything up. So we do want to lift that up as well. But again, I'm going to make my brush pretty big. And we also want to move in the direction. The trick here is that we want to keep our volume pretty standard on here. So I'm not really liking how that's turning out. So I could probably smooth a little bit, but I want to see how that brow looks when I'm doing this. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, but I am thinning my brow out a little bit. Okay. I'm doing something that's very dangerous there as I'm moving up the corner of the eye. Okay. I also have to fix this in here because we want, when we do our blink, we still want to be able to blink. So that doesn't look too bad. I just need to fix the topology on the top of that. Okay, and now let's do our top here. I'm going to make my brush bigger, and I'm going to... Doesn't have to be a lot. A common thing students do is they'll get rid of this bone structure right here. That, or those bring it straight up, and I want it to be pulling back. Again, I probably have to be a bigger brush to do this right. I'm not really liking what I'm doing here, but let's see. I can always do some erase or some smoothing. You just, again, you got to be careful with your smooth because you're going to lose this ridge if you're too aggressive with it. So let's make my brush a little bit smaller. I'll hold down shift and I'll smooth. Doesn't look too bad. Maybe I want to lift up the corner a little bit more too. I do. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay, we're getting close. So now I want to fix this. So I might turn my freeze off, but let's see if I can actually... Now I'm going to have to turn the freeze off. Go into my options. I'll unfreeze. Then I'll go back to my grab. And I'll make my brush pretty small. Now I noticed something else I did here is that I moved some of my lower lid as well. Now I'm just cleaning the topology up. That's a pretty big gap there, so I might not be happy with that. I might go in there, because you might say, why am I spending so much time on this? Because the texture is definitely going to get it's going to get affected by this. Okay, so that's looking a little better on there. So, okay, so the underneath the lid is actually going a little bit wonky too. So I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to go into erase, just so I can actually, actually I could probably do this on and do it like this. I'm going to go into erase, and I'm going to erase down here, because this definitely should go back down. There's no reason for that to come up. And then this is why I want to go back down, because I was having trouble grabbing those. So I'm erasing. Now this again is a little dangerous, because it's hard to tell what I'm erasing, because it's not on. But there, that's a lot better. And now I can bring this down a little bit. I can do my grab. Back into erase and erase that a little bit. Okay, let's see. There we go. That looks pretty good. So let's look back at it. And if I was getting picky again, I could bring these topology up just a little bit more, so that when the brow raises, it still stays locked down, but these guys move up a little bit. And again, that's getting. I'm pretty happy with that. And then you have your blinks on there. Okay, so that's your brow raise.